I talked him out of it.
Oh, thank you, good, all right, cool, I'll see you
I
after.
told him it could be done with a confidential email.
Good, perfect. All right, Dennis, have a good weekend.
Oh, you too.
Thank you.
I'll be right here.
Yeah, you have to work tomorrow.
And Friday.
Okay, we're ready. We are on the air. Welcome, everybody. This is our November 9th meeting. We aren't opening our official meeting. This is a workshop to have the fire chief discuss a SAFER grant with us. This is looking at possibly putting on some additional firefighters with some grant money. And we're going to hear from Dennis and Lisa Vargas about whether we can afford this or how we can afford this. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom. First off, I'm not sure how much information the town manager provided for review prior to this meeting.
We had some stuff sent to us over email, so.
Well, the issue that Berwick Fire is having right now is staffing, and that involves on-call force as well as per diem staff and our full-time career staff. We presently have 5 full-time career people, a chief and 4 firefighters. They run 4 shifts, 24-hour shifts, 7 days a week, 375 days a year. Right now, we have scheduled 1 per diem firefighter to come in and work with that 1 full-time career guy 24/7. And we're running into problems with staffing levels on the on-call side because of the state mandate on vaccinations. We've lost at least 2 people, to my knowledge, right now. Possibly there may be a couple more here shortly. So knowing that FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, comes out every year and provides grant opportunities to the towns, I thought it might be a good recommendation to the board to at least look at the SAFER grant. SAFER grant is a grant provided by FEMA for adequate fire and emergency response personnel, or you can actually submit applications to do recruitment programs. And in fact, we did that in 2013, right after the fire department study that was conducted. That was one of their recommendations. That hasn't panned out very well. We don't have a lot of participation, and I don't have the answers as to why. We pay an hourly rate, and we have been for a number of years now. So I thought it would be a good idea to at least bring to the board, going by last year's standards, not this year's standards, because the guidance hasn't come out or been published yet. It should be published within the next couple of weeks. It's a 3-year grant. I'm looking at 4 staff, 1 for each shift. As I said, it's a 3-year grant, and it's totally paid for that 3-year period. Staffing is an issue. We also, as you know, we do medical aid for the town. Probably 3/4 of our calls are actually EMS calls. When we have people tied up, there's usually 2 guys, persons on that vehicle. They're there on scene anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. And during that time, I'm the only one available. And that has created some issues, not because of me, but because of only 1 person. So I thought it would give the town a good opportunity to plan ahead a little bit. As you know, and from what I'm hearing, the town's growth is going to increase somewhat over the next 3 to 5 years. So we're just trying to plan ahead a little bit as far as the SAFER grant goes. The call for, like I said, we pay our on-call people anywhere from $12.50 an hour up to $23 an hour. So, it's not that we're not doing things to entice. It's just people aren't joining. I think it has to do a lot with our on-call people having full-time jobs, got to get up in the morning at 3 o'clock, they don't want to get up and go for a call. It's not like the dedication that we used to have years ago where you get up and it didn't matter what time it was. But that's not there today, so my job looking forward to the future and what the town and the protection needs, I would highly recommend that you authorize at least applying for the grant. As far as at the end of that grant period, like I said, we have one per diem right now, which costs the town about $157,000 a year. Last budget season, I put in for a second per diem, which was turned down because of cost and the funding at the time. But my intent would be to put in for a second per diem this upcoming budget season. If the town approves that, that would give us around $300,000 at the end of the 3-year cycle of the SAFER grant staff to keep them on the payroll. We'd have to add whatever it comes out to, $80,000 to do that. But I think it would be in the town's best interest. It would also allow us to possibly upgrade our medical. We provide basic EMTs right now. We would have the opportunity to increase that level to a paramedic level service. So,
Any questions for the chief?
I got a couple.
Use your microphone,
Oh,
if you would. We are live.
sorry, I apologize for being a little late.
Hi, Linda.
How are you, Mike?
I'm good. I'll let you go first if you want.
Okay. So again, I apologize for being late. Traffic's a little heavy. So I'm just looking at a couple of clarifying questions. So what I read in here is you're looking for 3 full-time firefighters/paramedics. Right now, you have basic paramedics on board. What is the,
we don't have at this point, we're not licensed for the paramedic level, we're only
Okay.
licensed for the basic level.
and what would it entail to get licensed?
Additional equipment and higher basic, paramedics with license to be able to practice that level.
Okay, so my question then comes to that is, say everything is hunky-dory and we say, okay, we bring 3 of these on,
That's 4, by the way, not 3.
4, okay. Where would you obtain these? Because my understanding, and I could be wrong, is that there's a shortage in the state to begin with.
There is. I can't tell what the future's gonna bring. What I'm suggesting to the board is that there's an opportunity there to provide the residents of Berwick with that level of service, providing we can find the people trained at that level of service. I can't sit here tonight and guarantee I'm gonna hire paramedics. I may not be able to get them.
Right, so that takes me to my next part is, because we're in such a shortage, how does this apply to the current staff now? Could we potentially, and again, I'm spitballing here, potentially upgrade a firefighter that we have now to a paramedic level by supporting them with the right education and whatnot, if we come into some sort of agreement that if we provide this information, you're going to sign to stay with us for the next 5+ years?
Absolutely, that could be done. We offer that, not that level at this point, because I don't have the funding to be able to do
Right.
that. But yes, we do offer advanced, which is in between basic and paramedic. And paramedic, we have supported that, and will continue to support that for the people we have right now.
Okay, and can this money be utilized for that?
No,
It can't, it can only be used for full-time.
right. I
Okay.
can go after other grants for training funds in order to accomplish that, yes. But that particular grant can't be used for that.
Okay. And you're looking for 4, not
We
3?
have 4 shifts.
Yep.
We run 24/7 with 1 full-timer and 1 per diem right now.
So, and you're saying, what's the cost of one?
Per diem or full-time?
One full-time paramedic.
I can tell you what the cost of, maybe Lisa can tell you what the cost is of one full-time firefighter. I don't have it off the top of my head right now.
No, just estimates,
But
I'm
it'd
just
be
trying to.
basic. Lisa, can you help me out?
You muted.
You're muted, Lisa.
I said, hold on, let me look at my spreadsheet.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Linda.
No, I'm
That's why she's here.
I'm running my head. It's
Yeah.
workshop, right? Right,
Yeah.
so I'm just
Right,
asking
yep.
questions to
Right, no
formulate it in
problem.
my head, because I think these grants are great, because they open up doors and avenues that don't exist. My only concern is, how do we recruit someone who's qualified for one of these positions, if they feel like, well, if I go to Berwick and I'm on this grant, I'm there for 3 years, and then I'm dropped. So what is the cost, and how do we implement that into the budget, even if we do it in increments over 3 years, to ensure that we can give them some sort of reliability? Hey, come to Berwick. We're supportive. We want to kick this program off by utilizing grant funds. But how do we recruit away from some of the larger departments if there's no stability? If there's no, hey, in 3 years, sorry, but we don't have the budget for you anymore. Take all that experience and training and go to a larger department. So that's why I was curious, how much does it cost for one firefighter per year?
Okay, so right now, currently, we have 4 full-time firefighters slash EMT, and we're paying anywhere between $74,835 to $96,254, depending on experience, their level, and years of service.
Okay. Annually. So 4 in Berwick. That's just salary. That's just salary, not
That's
benefits?
everything, their health insurance, their.
Oh, so that's-
their,
okay. Salary and
all of their-
benefits.
And benefits, yes.
Okay, salary and benefits. Okay. So now you say that times 4. That's my only concern. I think these things are great, and I am supportive of doing that. I just, where there's already a shortage, how do we put the flag out there and say, hey, come to Berwick, and they go, yeah, but what happens in 3 years? Are you gonna drop me?
I think my gut feeling is, with this whole process, as I indicated, we have right now 1 per diem. That 1 per diem costs the town $157,000, something like that. My goal is to put another per diem on this year because I need the help in order to move this forward. And that would give us 2, which would bring it up around $300,000 at the end of the 3rd year grant process. Unfortunately, there's still an additional cost that if we want to keep them, the town's going to have to pick up.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And as far as retaining them is, we run that risk anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Not just our firemen, but our policemen and everybody, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Is, you know, is everybody's looking for a greener pasture, you can't guarantee that anybody's gonna be here next year.
Right, no, I understand that. I'm just saying is, I think Berwick offers a lot, especially where we're located, the department. We have we have a brand-new station, we have a good crew. So if we want to recruit someone with the qualifications, like you said, of the paramedic, and they're going to relocate their family or whatnot to Berwick, and we want that, how do we offer something that the other departments aren't? And that could be stability. And maybe that's what we should be back looking at is, yeah, I mean, I'm fully in support of applying for all 4 grants. In the meantime, we should also be doing some work as a board to find the money. And you said 1 per diem costs about $150,000. Well, that's about 2 full-time positions. If you have 2, that's 4. So sometime in this period, we got to come up with the money to give these guys some reassurance, because no one who's qualified, it doesn't make sense. You have somebody in a larger city who's qualified, and you open up the position, the grant position, you post it out there, what's gonna make them leave their seniority and their secure position to risk coming here? We need to give them some sort of reassurance that, not a guarantee, you can't do that a budget year, but just some sort of, you have a commitment that the board is gonna work to continue these positions long past the 3 years. That's all I'm saying. Because looking through some of the numbers and everything else is, and I read this, I do believe that we need more qualified full-time firefighters here than just 4. And per diems are great, but having a volunteer force is difficult to balance.
Well, right now, even keeping our per diem has been difficult to balance.
Yeah.
These per diems work for maybe full-time other departments, or they may work for 2 or 3 other departments as a per diem.
Right,
They get no benefits, they get nothing.
right,
Initially, when we started out, I think we had about 6, we're down to about 4 right now. But I've got on-call people right now covering shifts, those shifts that I need to cover, and they're working 45, 60 hours a week just to cover those shifts. That's not gonna last forever.
no, it's
My
not.
full-timers are being forced in, or will be forced in here shortly. That's not gonna last forever.
It's not
Berwick
sustainable.
provides good benefits, they provide good pay. Out of all the people that we've had since we started, I might have lost 1, so they went to a different department. I have on-call guys that are getting hired every day. Sanford just hired 2 of my guys. So it's just a fluctuation of everything the way it is right now.
Yeah,
And COVID did not help anybody.
yeah, no, I agree. I just think that in this conversation, we should also talk about the work that we need to do as a board to find the funding to be able to back this up.
That's what our budget workshops
Yeah,
come to.
I understand that. I'm just,
Believe me, we'll have enough of those to go around.
because if we get approved the grants, we apply and we get approved the 4 grants, and then we put it out there, and we don't have any applicants, well, then we're still in the same spot. We have to make ourselves appealing to people, and I think one of it is, and again, you can't guarantee that.
Right.
That's the budget process. But a commitment from the board to try to fund those positions I think is important too. And sorry, might jump in any, I know you had some questions
No,
too.
I mean, Linda, you really kind of hit where I was going with it. And I'm trying to, I was doing some math with the per diem, and then we kind of circled back around to it too, where, having those full-time forces actually more beneficial, even from a cost perspective once we get that in. I guess my question to Dennis is, you alluded to the vaccine mandates, possibly forcing a couple out or taking that step sideways for a little bit. If we get approved these grants, is it use or lose? Is there a way we can turn this money into a recruiting effort? Because I'm sure Linda can attest too with what she's seen for applicants. I can put a now hiring and incentive up, and we're not seeing applicants for any position out there, let alone public safety.
Yeah.
I guess if we get approved, what can we do to maximize this? Do we just, because I can't see people just come and running all of a sudden going, oh, Berwick's got 3 openings and now we're going to be there. We got people to choose from.
Right. How do we attract them?
Yeah.
To try and answer your question, the grant process, like I said, hasn't come out with their guidance yet for the SAFER
Okay.
grant. They will be coming out here within the next week. That was one of the reasons why, and I appreciate the board meeting tonight, at least because it is going to open up sooner than I thought. But to answer your question, we go through the grant process, we write the grant, we submit it. If we're fortunate enough to get selected, there's thousands of departments out there putting in for all kinds of grants.
Right.
If we get selected, we will be notified, the board will be notified, and at that point, if we start the process, you have so many days, like 180 days, to be able to start the ball moving. If for some reason we can't get applicants, we ask for an extension through the federal government. They will give us an extension because of the circumstances. How long that extension will be for will depend upon what's going on at the time. So there are ways to work with it. The bottom line is, if we can't find applicants, then we may end up losing the money.
Right.
That's the way it works. And there's no guarantee we're gonna get it in the first place, but
Oh, it's worth a try. I mean, that's my
That's what I thought.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're looking at two separate discussions. The first one is, do we go forward with applying for the grant, which I'm 1,000% on board with. I think it only benefits the town and the force and even your team right now with some, some support of extra bodies and, to take care of things. And I think that goes a long way. And then the second discussion is, how do we really look at what we need as a town, for sustainability for extra firefighters as we grow and what that's going to look like. I don't want to mix the two, but I definitely think going after the grant's the way to go, but I think if accepted, we really need to take a hard look at how do we keep it sustainable, over time.
Right. Exactly.
Lisa, if I can ask you a question about the budget process and everything, is if we were to get the grant and hire 4 full-time people, would that streamline the payroll budget? Because you have somebody on full-time and not have to worry about the per diem and figuring out the hours every week and everything? How would that work?
Well, I don't think it will streamline it any more than it's already streamlined. We already have software in place that is being utilized to streamline the payroll process. It could help on the fire department side because they're the ones that are doing the data entry for the hours for the per diems. But Dennis, does this eliminate per diems or just take the place of some?
I think the intent would be is to hold on to the per diems until such time as we get to the end of the 3-year period. And then go from that point.
So the per diems would only be used as needed? So,
Well, until you get the full-timers on board.
Right.
If we get the grant, until you get the 4 people on board, you get them trained, the per diems are still gotta cover.
right.
Once they get trained and they're on their own, up until the end of that 3rd year, I would say hang on to them, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
And I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
At the end of that 3rd year, that funding can go towards, 3 years from now, you may all decide to do something else, but that's what I'm looking at.
Three
right
years now, we all may be different here.
now. So whatever. But, with the town growing, with everything that's going on, and there is gonna be a time when, there have been occasions where I haven't been able to send a truck to a call because my 2 guys were tied up. That's the fact of life, and that's not fair to my firefighters, and it's not fair to the residents of Berwick.
Right.
You expect a service, you should be getting that service. And all I'm trying to do is make you aware of the issues we're running into.
Right. No, I agree. I think step one is we definitely apply for the grant. It's absolutely worth it. At least apply. You don't get anything if you don't apply. And then further workshops will be needed to figure out. And I agree, you keep the per diems, because the grant's paying for them for the first 3 years. Keep the per diems, because people come and go anyways.
Right.
So there's no additional cost there. And then at the end of the 3 years, look at the economics of,
Just remember,
Do we
even
cut
with that
down?
per diem, you're only talking 3 staff, 3
Right.
people. If you look at the standards that are out there, our size town or community, we're considered a rural district. We should be providing 6 people in 14 minutes, 80% of the time. I can't meet that standard.
yeah,
I'm lucky if I, right now, meet 2 people in 14 minutes, 18% of the time. But I understand there's a cost to that. But that's what the standard is we should be meeting. I realize you're not gonna meet it today, but there are standards we have to go by.
Right. Any other questions of the chief or Lisa or town manager or anybody?
Well, what's the next step? Are you prepared to submit the grant? Is it all,
I've already started to write the grant. Before it's submitted, I'll have the town manager take a look at it, make sure he's okay with it, or anybody else that wants to look at it. Hopefully it'll get submitted, and hopefully.
When's the deadline?
The grant that's out right now is for PPE, personal protective equipment. And I'm applying for one of those as well, looking for bunker gear and Scott air packs, or air packs, I shouldn't say Scott, because I can't really do that. That grant opened up Monday. I'm gonna have that done by, I think it closes November 18th. And right after that is when the SAFER grant opens up, and that closes sometime in December. Initially, it was supposed to open up in January. So I figured it'd be right about a time of budget season, we could all sit down and talk, but it didn't work out that way. And
No.
if I'm gonna do it, I need, first of all, authorization, and then we'll get it done.
right,
Yeah, look, Dennis, I'm all for going for it. I mean, I think it's a huge step, and like you said, who knows? I mean, like, we can't predict 2-3 years from now anyways, what that's gonna look like, what that need's gonna look like, what COVID's gonna have for an impact, where we're gonna be standing at. So, I mean, let's look at what's in front of us, and anything that gets the department help, or
Right.
any chance that we have to get the department assistance and help, I think we should be all over.
right. I agree.
When he says authorization, do we have to take a vote in the meeting tonight, or is that something more informal?
Well, we can't take a vote during the workshop anyways, but.
No, that's what I mean, but I mean during the actual meeting tonight is what I mean.
I guess personally, I don't need a vote. It's up to the board. It should be documented someplace that the
Right.
board approved me going forward with it,
Right.
to keep me out of trouble.
Well, let's keep everybody out of trouble. That's the way,
right.
that's the way we need to go. So that's why I was asking about the timeline, though, is, for the SAFER grant, is we can, vote on it at our next meeting. Have everything in front of us and everything, and vote on the next meeting, and still have plenty of time to, apply for the grant. So that should be no problem,
When's our
right?
next meeting?
2 weeks.
18th,
18th.
that sounds right.
So when you say you want everything in
Two
front of you, you mean,
Tuesdays from now.
I don't need the grant and everything, but. no,
23rd.
I just want to make sure I
Thank you.
understand what you're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, we'll have a chance for the rest of for the board to, look at it some more and everything, and the town manager to go over it some more, and that way we'll have everything in place, so at our next meeting, we can just go through the formalization of voting to
Yeah.
authorize it.
Hopefully I'll have it done then.
So,
But I know I am, for the workshop purposes, and just for you, as you're working on this, I think everyone is the same thing, is we're definitely in support of applying for it,
Yes.
and then we'll get together and take the next steps to figure out how we get the right people here.
so, I say continue on.
Very good. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
it. Is I'll close the workshop, is we have about 33 minutes to our regular meeting. We're gonna take a break.
All right.
Okay.